What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for MLB Friday, July 21st. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's MLB slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, we have an 11-game MLB slate tonight. So let's take a look at the pitcher position. So I'm going to go ahead and pay up here. I like Framber Valdez. He's pitching against a low salary batting team, the Oakland Athletics. Framber Valdez only giving up a .594 OPS versus righties, facing 5 righties here tonight. The Athletics have only hit 9 of his last 43 pitches. That's a .209 batting average. Now, Framber Valdez is $11,200 FanDuel salary, $400 less on DraftKings, averaging 40 fantasy points per game on the season. He has an ERA of 2.76. Record is 7-6, pitching an average of 97 pitches per game. And Vegas only thinks there's going to be a 7.5 runs scored in this game. So they have this one as a low-scoring game. That's their over-under. So I like Framber Valdez here versus the Oakland Athletics. Okay, let's take a look at the catcher first base position. Okay, so I got a value play for you here. I like Blake Sabal. He's got an 85% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Jake Irvin. Blake Sabal batting 68% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .840 OPS versus righties. Jake Irvin pitching his worst ball versus lefty batters, 16% worse than his other pitches. He's giving up a .800 OPS versus lefties. Now, Blake Sabal is 0 for 2 here versus Irvin, but the splits are fantastic. And he's only $2,800 FanDuel salary, $900 more on DraftKings, averaging 8 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .256. And Vegas thinks there's going to be 9.5 runs scored in this game. That's their over-under. So I like Blake Sabal here versus Jake Irvin. Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching. If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal, all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won. And then we'll send you $25 PayPal. So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you. Okay, let's take a look at the second base position. I like Edward Julian. And he's got a 104% batting advantage here over Lance Lynn. Edward Julian batting 61% better versus righty pitchers, batting a 1.037 OPS versus righties. Lance Lynn pitching his worst ball versus lefty batters, 43% worse than his other pitches, giving up a 1.034 OPS versus lefties. So there's no at-bats versus Lynn yet. And Edward Julian, he is only $3,000 FanDuel salary and only $100 more on DraftKings, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .316, and he scored fantasy points in all 5 of his last games. 3 of those 5 were monsters, 21, 31, and 28 fantasy points. So I like Edward Julian here versus Lance Lynn. Okay, let's take a look at the third base position. So I like Jeimer Candelario. He's batting against a low salary pitcher, Alex Wood. So Jeimer Candelario is batting a .747 OPS versus lefties. Alex Wood is pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, giving up a .851 OPS versus righties. So Jeimer Candelario is 3,200 FanDuel salary, 600 more on DraftKings, averaging 11 fantasy points per game on the season. And he scored fantasy points in 3 out of his last 4 games. 2 of his last 2 were monsters, scoring 2 of his last 3, scoring 19 and 31 fantasy points. He has a batting average of .259. Vegas thinks there's going to be 9.5 runs scored in this game. That's their over-under. So I like Jeimer Candelario here versus Alex Wood. Okay, who do we have at the shortstop position? I like Ahmed Rosario. Here's another value play. Wanted to give you guys a lot of value in this video so you could go with the stud pitcher here. So I like Ahmed Rosario with a 49% batting advantage over Ranger Suarez. Ahmed Rosario batting 18% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a .776 OPS versus lefties. Ranger Suarez pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, 30% worse than his pitch to lefties, giving up a .772 OPS versus righties. And I like this pick because Ahmed Rosario is 3 for 5 here versus Suarez with a 1.867 OPS. One of those hits is a home run. Only 2,800 FanDuel salary, 1,400 more on DraftKings, averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season. And he scored fantasy points in all 3 of his last games. He's on a hot streak here. Scored 16, 13, and 28 fantasy points in his last 3 games. Has a batting average of .262. So I like Ahmed Rosario here versus Ranger Suarez.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, moving on to the outfield position, a home run hitter, stud pick if you have the salary. I like Mookie Betts here versus Andrew Heaney. And I like this pick here because Mookie Betts is 5 for 14 here versus Heaney. It's a .357 batting average. Now, all 5 of those hits were singles, but the splits are fantastic, and he's in a great spot. So I like Mookie Betts if you have enough salary for that stud pick. But if you're looking to save a little bit of salary, another stud that I like, Lane Thomas. He's got a 65% batting advantage over Alex Wood. He's 4 for 7 here versus Alex Wood. He's 3,500 FanDuel salary, 1,300 more on DraftKings. So Lane Thomas, another stud pick if you have the salary left over. But if you need a value play here, you got Mike Yastrzemski, who's looking pretty good at 2,900 FanDuel salary, 300 more on DraftKings. He's got a 48% batting advantage here over Jake Irvin. So Mike Yastrzemski batting 31% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .823 OPS versus righties. Jake Irvin, he is pitching his worst ball versus lefty batters, 16% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .800 OPS versus lefties. So there's no at-bats versus Irvin yet. Mike Yastrzemski, 2,900 FanDuel salary, 300 more on DraftKings, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He's got a batting average of .237, hasn't scored fantasy points in the last 2 games, but he has scored fantasy points in 3 out of his last 5. So I like Mike Yastrzemski as a value play here versus Jake Irvin. Another value play while I'm here, even cheaper than Mike Yastrzemski, is Stone Garrett. He's got a 56% batting advantage over Alex Wood. So it looks like there's an opportunity to stack righty batters here versus Alex Wood. So Stone Garrett got a 23% batting advantage here. He's got a 56% batting advantage, but he's batting 23% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a .848 OPS versus lefties. We know Alex Wood pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, 32% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .851 OPS versus righties. Now, there's no at-bats versus Wood yet, but Stone Garrett, only 2,600 FanDuel salary, only 200 more on DraftKings, averaging 8 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .265, scored fantasy points in 3 out of his last 5. So I like Stone Garrett as a value play here versus Alex Wood.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this MLB slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.